Hey guys, it is Nick here with another Nick's Topics Dragon Ball What If topic video for today. And today we are getting into part 13 of my first Dragon Ball What If topic on this channel. And that is, what if Hercule, the world martial arts champion, savior of the world, and who helped against the fight with Boo, was a Z fighter? Now, how would this impact the story? Short answer, it impacts a lot. Hercule being a character here means a lot in the grand scheme of things. For one thing, instead of taking his journey to the Satan Dojo to become the world martial arts champion, he would instead go on the route with Goku and Bulma on their adventures to get the Dragon Balls back in the early days of Dragon Ball. Him actually becoming lifelong friends with the young Goku. And along the way, all of his trademark moves, he would master a lot sooner, getting a better grasp on them. He would also get the Wolf Fang Fist attack from Yamcha, and ask young Goku to teach him the Kamehameha Wave, his first energy attack. He would then go on to learn the Kaioken alongside Goku, and all the other Earthlings, Krillin, Yamcha, and Tien, they would learn the Kaioken as well, because of course they would. Also, another notable thing is that Gohan and Videl meet a lot sooner. And right now it's a friendship, but it's definitely going to end up... Their relationship is going to happen a lot sooner than it did in the original. Now, to recap in order of importance, like a very important detail that I know a lot of you might be wondering, I chose to keep the future timeline out of this because, as you'll see in this coming episode, future Trunks or whoever's interference would be utterly pointless, and you'll see why. I'll clarify more on this episode in case you guys were confused as to why I kept him out of this. Anyways, another notable thing is Goten is born a lot earlier because Goku's around a lot more, and Trunks was born back in pretty much the Frieza saga, so he's almost a teen at this point. Now, to recap the storyline from the last episode, 19 and 20 made their fated attack on the island 9 miles off of South City, and pretty much goes per normal until we get to the scene of Dr. Gero about to drain Yamcha's energy. But with the access of Kaioken and high levels of it, this keeps the Doctor at bay. He knows about it, but it's enough for Yamcha to at least get himself not, absorbed at the moment. Enough for the group to arrive, and the meeting and Dr. Gero telling everything pretty much goes per normal. But with Yamcha being there now, the energy absorption is known, so Super Saiyan Goku defeats 19 rather handily with Hercule's help. Dr. Gero gets his hand sliced clean off, like he does per normal against Piccolo, and escapes to the lab to awaken 17 and 18. And, like I said, a lot of this would go per normal, except with a few characters being there. Anyways, Bulma would then convey the location of Dr. Gero's lab, but by the time that they get there, 16 has already been awakened along with 17 and 18, and Dr. Gero has been killed. And it's not too... Basically, whenever the door is blasted down, the androids are already awoken, so not too much a time difference. Anyways, 16 then lunges at Goku in the lab and pushes him out of it with a force of ki. The two begin their fight, with Hercule backing him up, 16 not really giving much interest, and that fight goes on. Meanwhile, Vegeta, Gohan, and the others are fighting the likes of 17 and 18. And the energy and stamina difference is a lot more noticeable than it was originally. With the androids having data on a little bit of Super Saiyan, not too much, but enough. And Kaioken, it's just too much a difference, and unfortunately, Tien has to pull off a solar flare for the group to escape. Now, you might think that 16 would just go after Goku regardless, if he could calculate where he was. That's true, but I believe that 17 and 18 would coax him into waiting, see if these guys can get their powers up a little. Meanwhile, I'm going to give you guys the conclusion of the revelation I left off with at the last episode. Meanwhile, at Kami's lookout, a day before the events of 19 and 20 even showing up, Kami's been busy with a plan. A very convoluted and possibly foolish plan. He's been thinking, he needs to be a better guardian. He's been sitting on the sidelines all these years, everyone's been getting so much stronger, Goku and all of them, and he hasn't done anything in return rather than just sit up on his lookout. So he finally decides it's time to get some action. He then tells his subordinate Mr. Popo to gather the Dragon Balls, and this is all done at night so that no one suspects anything. Shenron is then summoned, and this would be the first time besides Dragon Ball GT and Ultimate Tenkaichi that we actually see Shenron appear on the lookout. Well, I'm sorry, Cell Saga at the end of it, he was brought up, but that's not really important. Anyway, he wishes to restore his youth, and this would grant him a lot more power, and it would upgrade Shenron and the hyperbolic time chamber, which I'll get to in a minute. And it also affects King Piccolo, rather. And I'm going to leave you guys with some facts here this time instead of leaving off the revelation of him last time. He is coming back. So, King Piccolo, after doing all that, or Kami after doing all that, would then get the rice cooker and free King Piccolo. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. Why? Why is the point of bringing King Piccolo back? What good is he going to do, even if Kami has restored his youth? He's bad! Well, that's true. But Kami wants to see if he can actually redeem King Piccolo and make him a valuable asset. They need every freaking strong person that they can get. So, he would then go to the hyperbolic time chamber with King Piccolo, bribing him on all the information that's happened on their way inside. Now, like I said, the room has been updated, so that means Kami and King Piccolo, fighting to actually resolve their differences, could stay in the room a little bit longer than you would originally, before, like, the room was just, like, you had to only be in there a day or you'd go mad. Now, conveniently enough, whenever the Z-Fighters go up to Kami's lookout to try and formulate a plan, that is when Kami and King Piccolo have actually resolved their differences and are walking out of the room. Now, at first, the Z-Fighters don't know what to think, they don't know where Kami is. Then Mr. Popo points to the hyperbolic time chamber door, where two figures emerge. One is Kami, looking similar to King Piccolo in appearance, even though they never saw King Piccolo in young form, but he's definitely looking younger, so they're confused. But then they see a familiar face. King Piccolo then steps from behind Kami. Now, this surprises Krillin, Yamcha, Hercule, Goku, and Tien, who have all seen and fought King Piccolo. Now, there's another person who's surprised, Vegeta. Now, the only reason that he's surprised is that he did not know that the Guardian of Earth was an Namekian. And this would be where the revelation of the Namekians is first introduced into the story, a lot later than it was originally. King Piccolo, seeing all these familiar faces, just smirks and says, "Well, well, well. I thought that Kami was the only familiar face I'd see after getting out of that rice cooker. So tell me, you guys get any stronger? Because I have, and I'm itching for another round, if you know what I mean. Now, right whenever he says this, Krillin is furious because he almost died to this guy's goon, Tambourine. Goku is the next one to get angry, and everyone prepares to power up and destroy King Piccolo right then and there. But Kami stops them. Everyone's surprised at this and is like, why would you save him? Do you not know the trouble he caused? Kami explains that they need every single frickin' fighter that they can get, and he believes that King Piccolo can be redeemed. Because Vegeta and everybody else was redeemed, so why can't he? So, without further fanfare, he explains about the hyperbolic time chamber, and that with his youth restored, Shenron and the chamber have been upped. Like, they've been, like, rejuvenated, basically, with more stuff than they were originally. So they can use the Dragon Balls and the hyperbolic time chamber more effectively. So they go in, and more people can go in now. So Goku masters the Super Saiyan form effectively, and getting a tiny grasp on Super Saiyan 2. He can't use it fully, he hasn't mastered it, but he can use it to a certain degree. And as for Gohan, he masters the Super Saiyan form as well. And for those of you thinking, oh, it's just going to be the same thing with Super Saiyan 2, he's going to hide it or something to try and, like, make that a secret again. But no, Gohan would get Super Saiyan 2, and actually, it wouldn't be a surprise here. Because, for one thing, Goku already has it, so it wouldn't be much of a big revelation. And two, there wouldn't be any need for the whole Cell Saga blow-up thing, because there's no real imminent sense of danger. And as for Vegeta, he would master the Super Saiyan form as well. He wouldn't get Super Saiyan 2 here, but he would be close. He's as close to Goku and Gohan. He's almost there. And as for the Earthlings, don't think I'm going to leave them out in the dust. Like I said, the chamber has been fixed and definitely upgraded. So the Earthlings are going to up their Kaioken level a lot. And as for Hercule, I'm going to give him a bit more credit in this episode. So, with all the moves that he's gotten up till this point, he picks up another one of Yamcha's trademark moves, besides the Wolfang Fist. He decides to pick up his Spirit Ball attack. Also, going after some of Tien's moves, one of which being the Multiform. And after that, going on to learn a little bit about Tien's Tri-Beam. Now, Tien and Yamcha, they would be very impressed that Hercule can use these moves so effectively, because it took them quite a bit of effort, but Hercule is the strongest Earthling right now. Keep that in mind. Now, after everybody's training, and everyone unfortunately having to work with King Piccolo, they then convey where they think that they might have seen the androids last, and thankfully, they haven't gone too far, so they're able to locate him, also thanks to Kami. 16 then goes for Goku again, powering up, with Goku showing off his Super Saiyan. Now, the androids think there's something a little bit different. They do see King Piccolo, but they just think that one more ally is not going to change much, but if they want to go ahead and risk their lives again, go ahead. But then, right at that moment, Super Saiyan Goku teleports so fast that 16 can't even calculate it. And he teleports right in front of him and delivers a super uppercut, which decapitates 16's head right off. 17 and 18 are surprised at this, but then they lunge for Goku in the group, but are tossed around like ragdolls. They can't do anything, even with their infinite energy. 17 is angered at this, and surprised. Goku defeated 16 in one blow, and now him and 18 are being tossed around like they're nothing. How did these guys get so strong in a day or two? This is impossible. 18 on the other hand, she's not even... She is angry, but she's more scared. And she begs the group to let her and 17 go at least. She knows 16's a goner because he's freaking decapitated. But just as it seems the group might relent, King Piccolo charges up a hyper-explosive demon wave and wipes the two out because they're too injured from being tossed around. So they don't survive this. Even if King Piccolo is way weaker than everybody else, it's noticeable enough that they were injured to the point where they couldn't really defend against the blast. Vegeta smirks at this, knowing that he might have done the exact same thing to the androids. And with that, the android saga just wrapped up right then and there. But not so. Even though it's not noticeable at the moment, a certain bug creature is still relevant to the story, trapped in the remains of Dr. Gero's bunker in his lab, which wasn't destroyed, and might cause problems for our group in the future. And I think that's a perfect place to leave off for this episode. This is my longest What If Hercule Was a Z-Fighter episode yet, mainly because I wanted to try and get the android saga out of the way as quickly as possible. Now, this isn't to say that any of the facts that I haven't stated aren't liable enough. It's just that I wanted to try and put it all into one video. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I will see you guys in the next video.